Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm so happy that you're here.
Me too.
What do you want to talk about?
Best thing, I like to talk about the book and other things.
He's my best publicist.
Branding, I talk about the book all the time because so many people start the chapter, the first chapter, and they say, oh my gosh, I can't put it down. Yeah. So all of a sudden they read 4 or 5 chapters and then they say, wow, it just keeps on going though.
I have to say it really is gratifying when people call me or text me or message me and say, my friend or I or somebody I know is reading the book and it's really touched their lives and they really enjoy the book. That really is gratifying.
Oh yeah, I know I've texted you about myself, but then also some of my friends, I've shared it with them and they text me and then I text you.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm known as Devra's husband, but maybe I'll be known as the husband of the author.
Well, you are that right now.
Yes, I am.
We went to an event the other day and I got to be Ray's wife.
I don't recall that.
Oh, that was at our networking group.
Oh, yeah.
At the BNI group.
That's right.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Tables were turned a little bit there.
I actually kind of like that. Just be in the background a little bit.
But it's good to have fun with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we thank you for joining us, and we're happy to be with you today. I'm on the end of fighting off whatever is going around this town, and maybe they won't do any close-up pictures, but there's evidence of it around my mouth. I'm just sharing that with you now, just to be authentic, and we can do the best things that we can do to be healthy. But we live in a complicated world, and when I'd gotten to a point where I was just dragging a little bit, too tired, and when I get too tired, my immune defenses get down, and when I get my immune system kicks in, this is what I get.
I think that happens to a lot of people.
Herpes simplex 1, my not very favorite friend. But
yes.
Here we are. So we decided we were still going to do the show because I'm just curious, how many of you out there deal with fever blisters? What else are they called? They're fever blisters,
cold sores,
herpes.
I do.
It's the hard part. I think the really hard part is when I'm with Michelle, we always just laugh. And so if you see me laughing, I can't help it. So anyway, if I start bleeding, you'll know why. So anyway, I'm really excited that Michelle is here today because we've kind of been on a little bit of a journey since we wrote the book. Mm-hmm. So I wrote the book, and I've shared this a couple of times, that I wrote the book because as I learned more about my own health journey, I realized how much I didn't know and how much my friends didn't know. And so I wanted the book to be a toolkit and a resource for people to have better health because it is possible.
Right.
I grew up thinking, well, I'm either sick or I'm not sick. And I didn't know that there were steps that I could take to prevent myself from getting as sick. And even though my body's fighting something off right now, I know people who, been down for months with something, and I'm just on the end of it in a week. So I'm really kind of excited about that. But so that's why we wrote the book. And in the process of that, and the title, kind of became aware that I needed to do some changes with the branding. And we're going to talk a little bit about Michelle and some of the things that you do, but since I'm on that topic, I'll just go ahead and share. So the title of my company was R&D Nutrition for Life. And I actually love that because what I learned is it's not just about the food on our plate, it's about the nutrition of our whole life, right? It's like what we feed our mind, our body, and spirit. But I became increasingly aware that if we don't wake up and figure out that things affect our mind, body, and spirit that we're not even aware of, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, we don't get to the nutrition for life part. So we have to wake up and realize what's going on before we can take care of the nutrition part. And so that's kind of where Michelle came in. So I met Michelle through some of our networking events and became fast friends. And she's a fabulous human.
Aw, thank you.
Love you dearly. And I was in a meeting one day and somebody was talking about you being a brand therapist. And I love that title for you because it's true. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about who you are and your company, and then we'll go into what we did for us.
Okay. My name is Michelle Hausbeck.
In case you forgot.
In case you forgot. And I have to give credit where credit's due. So Nancy Gabriel, who I call my wordsmith, she's actually a mediator, came up with the term brand therapist or brand therapy. I was giving a talk one day at a networking event, and afterwards she just said, "You're a brand therapist, that's what it is."
Yeah,
So,
it is true.
Yeah, and it's such a descriptive term of what I help people do. I own a design and marketing company, and right now I'm just on the cusp of announcing something very special. It's actually a rebrand of my own business.
Are you going to talk about that more on the next show?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I will
so-
be on Jill and Missy's 50 Shades of Blonde after this, and we'll dive more into that.
She's got a big secret to share.
Been working on it for a while. But with the brand therapy, what I've learned over the years is it's so important to understand the why of a company. Whether
Because if you
it's
don't know why you're in business, then
Right.
you might as well not be in business.
right. And that why needs to be communicated visually, audibly, through content. There's a lot of things that happen before any content writing or design actually begin. That's where the brand development part takes place. And that is something I have learned over the years that is crucial and so important to getting out the right message and evoking the right emotion to your consumers when they're looking at whatever marketing piece they're looking at. And it was interesting with Devra because I have been at networking events and I've heard her talk, and I saw her R&D Nutrition for Life. I saw the brand, but then I got her book. So I helped her lay out the insides of her book, and obviously through that I read a good portion of it. And I approached her and said, "Hey, what do you think about maybe doing a rebrand?"
And it was interesting because in that process, I was so in love with Nutrition for Life of what the premise was. But you really did help me see that still could be the premise, but yet it wasn't communicating what the message I was sharing or what was in the book.
Right.
Yes.
Because the book has a sense of urgency to it. But it's a sense of urgency in a very loving way. And I know you and I talked a lot about that. You never wanted to come off across as like yelling or pointing your finger or, looking down on anyone.
Because the book is a we, right? It's
Right.
really about what do we need to do to improve our own health, the quality of the planet, our family's health.
Right.
Yeah, so it was that always, I always want to walk that middle line with people. And didn't want to, wake the health up.
Right.
So,
And wake the health up is a pretty bold statement.
yeah.
It is. But that your entire book is that loving sense of urgency. And as I read it, I just thought, man, this is your why.
And it really is because, the more, even since I wrote the book, the more I learn, the more we really do need to wake the health up, because there's things out there that are contributing to our poor health. And, it continues. If we have poor health, we can't go out there and do those things that we love to do.
Right.
With the people that we love.
Yeah.
And so that continues to be my message. And I really thank you for helping me step into that, without being, sometimes anybody ever afraid that someone's going to think something about your business or you? And it's like, oh, what the heck? And I do love it. I do love it.
Well, let me ask you a question then, and you might have already answered it. There's going to be two questions.
Okay.
So, why were you open to wanting to rebrand? Well, I'll ask it that way, because you didn't really know, I think you wanted to rebrand until I had the conversation with you.
Yeah. I think it's probably because it is an important message. And for the same reason I took, the speaker training and some of the other things I've done, it's a really important message. And if I don't learn how to communicate it well, or if my products don't communicate it, then the message isn't going to get out. And so I saw the value, a couple of conversations that we had, of really targeting what that message is, so that the need for us all to change would get out. So.
It's a fantastic answer.
Well, thank you.
You put some thought behind that?
Actually, I hadn't.
Yeah, that's great. How do you feel now? So let's take R&D Nutrition for Life where it was versus the Wake the Health Up brand where it is now. Is there a difference that you can see, not only obviously in the visual elements and the content, but in the way you feel and approach it and approach people?
Well, first of all, I love the branding. We'll show you some pictures in just a second. I love the branding, but it also, as I look at the branding, it also gives me a clear direction of, posts I want to make on Instagram or Facebook, or communicate to clients, or to prospective clients, anything, right? So it really does give me a clearer direction for where I want to go, and I need direction.
I think we all need
I can get
direction.
distracted really easy.
Right.
Yeah.
We all need directions, I think.
Oh, absolutely. What do you think about the new brand?
Oh, I love it. I love it very much.
Okay. Good.
I like the posters you've done, and the overall concept of it. I just love it.
He's still the number one fan.
Yeah.
And just going back, you said it's a powerful title. I still am grateful to, Dorothy and Neil Portnoy for that conversation that happened around the kitchen table. And I love, that's going to be one of my, we're going to do something with that. The kitchen table kind of, I love what happens around the kitchen table.
I agree.
More than just food. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you the same thing.
Yes.
Is I know you do a couple of things. How did you move from where you were in your business to develop where you are now? Your philosophy, the deep desire, the brand therapy. Because when I say therapy, it's all about asking the questions.
Yes.
To discern where the client is, and like for me, where the client is, where they think they are, but where they really are. How to
Right.
get them there with the brand.
Well, it's really hard for me to be my own client. But I recognized that a lot of things had changed in my life, in the business. I had learned a lot. I'd made a lot of mistakes also that I had learned from. And
You mean mistakes are okay?
mistakes are okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mistakes are actually healthy sometimes, as long as you take the approach where you want to learn from them and try not to make the same ones again.
I think that's the key.
Right.
Yeah, just don't make the same ones.
Yeah. And
But go make mistakes.
yes.
At
yes.
least to try, and if you do make a mistake, at least you've tried, and then continue and make it.
Well, I don't think you'd ever
Learn
learn,
from it.
yeah, if you didn't make mistakes.
So go ahead.
Maybe you
So-
never tried.
Right, exactly. I think anybody that tries will always make a mistake, which is, I think, healthy.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
where was I? I got off track. Yep, so I make mistakes.
Yeah, so you make mistakes.
That's the key. No.
Yeah, you were talking about being your own client and
Yes, yes. So I've had my own business for 12 years, and it started off with a business partner. And when her and I split, about 3 years after we had started, it was a very fast time frame where I had to change a name, get a new, logo and brand developed, and all the materials that go with that. So I never really got time or took the time to thoughtfully think about the why of what I was doing. I knew I loved to do what I do and loved to help people, make their thoughts turn into reality. But that storyline really wasn't in the brand itself. It evolved over time, but really it comes down to a lot of things changed in my life that changed who I was as a person. It changed my processes. Things internally changed, and therefore the brand had to change. And I also got married and got an awesome last name, so
That is kind of
that helped out.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
Well, your other name was kind of fun.
It was.
Yeah.
However, it was taken everywhere on the internet by
Yeah.
quite a few people.
Yeah.
Edgar Allan, kind of
Yeah, my name, actually,
dominates that last name, Poe.
Yeah, but you're still unique and unusual
Yes, I am.
in a good way.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to be a little crazy, unique.
And so, when you work with clients,
Mm-hmm.
what is the first thing that you typically do with them? I'm going to ask you like I didn't know.
Typically, I have a conversation with them, and that's to see exactly what you said, where they think they're at, and where I might think that they're at. So that's one, but another one is just, what are their goals? What are their visions? Challenges that they've seen. It's really about communication, and I do have a process for this communication. It's not just a willy-nilly, let's sit down and chat for 2 hours. There is a path and a strategy and certain questions. Everyone's a little different though, depending on what their needs are and where they're at. But really, it's the conversation, it's the reading in between the lines also.
So
And
kinda
it's a
like
lot
health
of
coaching.
education, and then on both parts. So me learning, but then also me being able to educate my potential client. I'm very big on partnering with my clients.
But it's a little bit like coaching. Is what you're doing in the process.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I do a lot of the physical work as far as helping to create content, and obviously the design and implementing marketing strategies. But it also is quite a bit of work on the client's part to think, be open to new ideas, to reflect on, maybe what I thought I was wanting might not be the right way, or maybe it is. So it's a lot of back and forth. So that's why I say I like to partner with the clients.
Well, like we had you gave us a couple of options that we kind of worked through, and then the one we actually settled on was a process. Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Ray wants to show stuff.
Well, we want to get to
Yeah.
what brand is.
So we didn't have a really big picture, but this is, I probably can't even see that, but this is the card. But I love the clock because we went through several processes of just even coming up with the clock, and the exclamation mark, being outside the clock for the sense of urgency. And so when you do a branding, when Michelle does a branding, it's there's so much layered thought into how the brand is developed and what it portrays. And so I really do appreciate that. And so I love my card. I love, the two-sided card.
You're welcome.
And this is just a little picture of, you want to show that one?
Sure.
These are just some of the things that Michelle helps provide.
So,
Can you explain what these are and the process?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if we actually go back to just the logo, and I know it's kind of small right here. I'll hold it up
But
again.
it's actually the,
Oh, there we go, and it's
There's the
bigger
clock.
on the
the
poster.
clock, Wake the Health Up.
One of the big red flags that I saw with R&D Nutrition for Life was it was all about food. It was all about the eating part of it and the food part of it. And
Because I didn't clarify that enough, because in my mind and some of the things that I talked about wasn't that, but
Right.
I didn't have a clear enough direction for how to communicate that properly.
yeah, and as soon as I got my hands on that book, I was reading it and I'm like, okay, wait. There's so much more to a holistic health approach than just food. It's a big part of it, but there's a lot more, and you talk about a lot more in the book also. So one of the things with the logo was I wanted to incorporate a touch of that element because it's food. The urgency, like you explained perfectly, the exclamation point coming out of the clock. And then also the whole idea of wake the health up, it's time to pay attention to your health. So that's the big idea behind the actual alarm clock, and it's shaking, so there's that urgency.
Yeah, because part of it is even when we waking up to those things that we think we know. right? Because there's a lot of things I thought I knew, I didn't know.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think that happens to all of us.
yeah.
I know I've learned a great deal from working with you about health and nutrition, and I'm implementing quite a few things.
Yeah.
So
Very
So that was
cool.
behind the logo. These are business cards. And one thing I always say too, everything that I work on with my clients has a goal, even if it's just a business card,
Yeah.
because these bad boys hopefully they get passed around, and you're not always there, the ones handing it out. So they need to tell, a high level snapshot of your story and give them an emotion and a feeling so they want to look further.
Well, and one of the other things Michelle did is also, even with the website, being very clear about services, and we're still in the process. This is kind of like our public announcement of our the brand change, but there's still some things coming, like on the website, doing some changes there. But I love it, and one of the things I never really knew what a one sheet was before. Kind of like, what is the client struggling with, the pain points. And I kind of knew that, but to put it on a sheet, I never would have really considered that. And then just being very clear about the services that are offered. And so I'm really grateful that you helped even process through that, because I knew what I offer or what I could offer, but yeah, just making a direct pathway of how to do that. How we're doing good on time.
Yeah.
So, what you want to say a little bit more about other things that you want to do with your clients, or how have you ever? Let me ask you this: have you ever turned down a client?
I have turned down clients
too.
before. I learned, so this is one of the mistakes I made, but I am learning from it, is that not everybody is your target audience, not everybody is a good fit. And that's okay.
Michelle offers a really wonderful workshop
Thank you.
to help people discover their target market.
Yeah. And the turning down of clients, I learned too, I'd say the last 3-4 years, that you can interview your own clients, because it really does have to be a fit, especially with the way that you as a business work and maybe the way as them as a person or a business work. And if that's not gelling or going to gel, it's going to create issues down the road and a lot of struggles that are going to get in the way of attaining the end goal.
Well, whether it's a health coach, a business coach,
Anybody.
A relationship like this, if you haven't discovered if that know, like, and trust factor is really in place,
Right.
and that you can work together, you're better off just finding somebody that you can work with. So
Right.
it's not a good or bad. It's just
It just is.
it just is.
Well, and
It
very
is.
much like you as a wellness architect, a wellness coach, when you have somebody you're working with, you need them to participate in the process. And
Yes, 'cause
with
I can't do
me,
it. You can't do it for your client. I can't do it for my client.
right.
Yeah.
And it's maybe a little different on my end, because I am actually executing, the design portion, the strategy portion. However, I need that client to be involved so they feel part of it. And some people just say, here, I don't know, go design the brand, go design the logo, or here's my set of instructions. And that's just not the way it should work to achieve the best end goal, at least what I have
Yeah,
found.
well, I could see where, because you're so talented, that you would come up with something very creative for somebody. But I also see how, in some cases, that wouldn't create the buy-in
Right.
from the client to actually love their logo and be willing to share it.
Yeah.
Like our friend Missy, right? So much loves her
Right.
her new logo that she's has amazing. What are those things called? Marketing.
Marketing materials?
Marketing materials, right? That came out of that brand. And so she went from having a brand that she wasn't proud of to one that she, loves, and
Right.
and I love looking at it as well.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's your brand. And if you don't own it, aren't part of it, aren't in it, emotionally connected to it, that translates when you talk about it out into the world. Like, it's yours. You got to wear it and own it.
Yeah. So if you're a business owner or a nonprofit, or do you work with nonprofits?
I do.
And whether you aren't really clear about your brand, or you know your brand, but maybe it needs a refresher, I highly recommend you give Michelle a call.
Thank you.
How can they do that?
They can reach out to me at, well, now, see, I got stuck because my new brand is like halfway there. So which email do I give out right now? I'll give out my current brand. So it's Michelle at 444creative.com, and that's TRIPLE, the number 4, creative.com. Or you can give me a call or shoot me a text, 702-334-7228. And I am all over Facebook under Michelle Hausbeck. So you can find me that way too. I'm really easy to find.
I was going to say, you even make sure that the colors and stuff come into effect.
Yes.
If it's not pleasing to the eye, then all of a sudden, like, do I really like this? And it makes big difference, because we don't want to have just something that's black and white or off colors that just aren't very well, because I'm not very color efficient, and you are. It's like, wow, it just pops out at you.
Oh,
very
well, thank
nice.
you. Yeah, color's a huge part of it,
For
because
those
the color
that know
evokes
me,
emotion.
Did she get my colors right?
Well, I think she did good.
Yeah, I love it.
That makes me happy.
Yeah,
That's why I do what I do.
And so if you want to, the website's still in process. We're making some changes, but our website is wakethehealthup.co. Go check it out. And I'm on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Let's Wake the Health Up, on Facebook. And you can find me on Instagram with instagram.com/Devra Betts. You're some of those places. Are you?
I think so.
If you want to get a hold of Ray, just tell me.
So Ray, what's your role in this?
Advocate. I like to talk about her book. I think it's a grand book, and I promote it quite often.
He's an amazing advocate, but he also is an amazing supporter and also business partner. Like, we discuss everything we're going to do. We discuss.
You guys are a great team.
He has, like, when we did a recipe workshop recently, and he likes to be part of that recipe makeover workshop.
Can I just say that was amazing? And if anybody saw Devra promoting it but was unable to attend it, a little birdie told me she's going to do another one.
Going to do another one.
And I highly, highly recommend it. I was shocked at some of the things that I learned, but I have implemented a lot of replacements. And it's really not that hard to replace ingredients for other ingredients and to know what to look for when you're grocery shopping, as long as you know what to look for or not to look for on the ingredients.
In baking, it has to be almost like a science.
Yeah.
If you want to take off some kind of moisture, you got to put some kind of moisture back in.
And God bless Ray, because I sent in a recipe and it was for chocolate almond cookies. It's my husband loves them, and he did
6.
6 batches
6
to
was the
try
winner.
and get them perfect. But he did it. There's a will, there's a way.
So I'm going to take a little bit of credit because I helped develop the recipe. I just don't like to bake.
You both.
So he does. No, I'm just kidding. He loves to bake, and he'll tweak and he'll tweak and he'll tweak. I like the savory cooking. He does the baking.
Yeah, great team.
Yeah.
So I was
We're a good
making regular cookies, chocolate chip cookies, and now I make chocolate chip cookies.
Those are good.
And one of the other ones we made over was a banana bread. And since then we also converted that to a pumpkin.
Oh, I'm
bread.
excited to try that.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, you walk away with so much value and things that you can implement into your everyday life.
And it's just getting rid of some of the things, like got rid of flour and substituted sugar for other sweeteners.
Right.
It's good.
But stay tuned if you're in the local area.
And
come to the next one.
Yeah, we're getting short on time.
We
So
are
it's
again.
time to say goodbye.
Half an hour goes
That
by
can't possibly
Yeah.
be true.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us in at this episode of Wake the Health Up with Devra and Ray. and with Michelle Hausbeck.
We're so
Thank
happy that
you.
you were with us. And as always, we hope we left you something to chew on. If you need some brand therapy, go see Michelle. If you're ready to overhaul your lifestyle and reset your health, you know,
Go see Devra.
go see me. And if you need some help showing some gratitude to people, go see Ray.
Or if you need some cookies baked.
Yeah, there you
Cookies
go. Okay.
baked. Anyway, take care.
For now.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
See y'all next month.
Bye.
Bye.